So welcome back to part 2 of Trauma Talks in Abby's Ticking. No, actually, it's not a chicken, it's a kitchen. But there you go. Welcome to my kitchen, you chicken. Anyway, we like to bring some laughter into our YouTube videos, and that's certainly what you're going to have today. But what we're talking about today is we have RENA, who is a biomedical, now she likes to undersell herself, but she is a biomedical holistic nutritionist with so much experience. And last time that you were on the podcast, there was just so much great information that you shared with us all. And thank you so much for coming back now. And we're going to talk more.
Thank you for having me back, Abby. I really appreciate it. Yeah, can't wait to dive into it.
Lovely. So what do we have here? And can you talk us through what are the sort of nutritional value in each of these wonderful things that we've got here?
So here I've got actually just a selection of different bits and bobs of whether it's our foods or our supplements, but I'd like to focus on what each one does and how it supports certain aspects of our health. So initially, what I like to talk about is blood sugar regulation.
Okay.
Yes. So when it comes to anxiety, you know, we're not eating too well. We may go for a quick chocolate here or a fizzy drink.
Yes.
And unfortunately, what that does is that causes a major sugar uprise.
Okay.
And then a major crash.
Okay.
And as that happens, this cortisol and adrenaline are released into our system, and then that drives our body into overdrive, causes anxiety, restlessness, and so on. So we want to focus on regulating our blood sugar levels.
So when you regulate the blood sugar levels, then that sort of works on the cortisol as well? Or?
It does,
okay.
because it keeps everything then nice and even. It keeps that energy throughout the day really nice and even without those spikes, those up and down spikes, which can lead to mood swings and irritation.
Okay.
There's some really simple hacks that we can do.
Okay, let's dive in.
So, very important to basically ensure, I always love to go back to the basics, back to the fundamentals, and then we work up the pyramid and we get to the fancier parts. But the fundamentals is that we want to really focus on 1, protein.
Okay.
2, so we've got some chia seeds here, which are actually very rich source of protein in there, which we're going to make into a smoothie.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and we've got some cashews and some almonds as well. These are also a very rich source of protein. And then what we also want to do is we want to focus on healthy fats. So protein initially, then healthy fats. What are healthy fats? Got a beautiful avocado here. Very rich in polyunsaturated healthy fats. So again, amazing for brain health. Good to keep that blood sugar regulation nice and stable. And just keeps you like really well satiated, so you're not going to get hungry like straight away. Okay,
and what is, because we're talking about this being a good fat, so what is a bad fat?
So bad fats are more trans fats. They're sort of like damaged fats sort of that you would use, say for instance, sunflower oil that you fried, and then some people reuse that again over and over again. Something like that, you wouldn't, canola oil, things as such, but especially when it comes to frying, because I think people do this a lot. They use, whether it's sunflower, but even olive oil. Really, we should only use it just once and not reuse it again, because the more we reuse it, the more it becomes damaged, oxidized, and basically its chemical structure changes, and that can cause then a lot of damage in our cell membranes with our hormones and things like that.
So do not reuse the olive oil.
Do not reuse the olive oil.
And a good fat is an avocado.
Avocado.
And if our viewers couldn't find an avocado, what would be an alternative?
I have to say, myself personally, I love olive oil. It's just so abundant.
So you could pour the some olive oil into a smoothie if you didn't have.
Not necessarily into a smoothie.
Okay.
Save that for lunch, because lunch, like whether you've got a little stew or a bit of toast, you can always drizzle some extra virgin olive oil. It's a perfect way to get that into your diet. But if you haven't got a little bit of avocado for your smoothie, what you could do is you could add a bit of coconut oil. So like a teaspoon of coconut oil, and that takes care of your healthy
good fat. That's the healthy fat. So you've got the
fantastic for brain health, especially. In fact, coconut oil is absolutely brilliant. You can even top up with coconut oil as well as avocado if you've got some.
Perfect.
So
So we've got the proteins, we've got the healthy fat. Do we need to pop into our smoothie?
Right, and I would say the next most fundamental thing to have in there is plenty of fiber. We can never go wrong with fiber. Fiber is so good for our health, especially our gut health. So here I've got some chia seeds.
Okay, lovely. And they just pop in?
You can just pop them in. You can soak them in water as well, but if you're making a smoothie, you can just pop them in. Okay. If you're having them in your porridge, then it's best to at least soak them for about 20 minutes to half an hour.
Oh, good tip.
Yeah, it's a good tip to remember. Another thing is, so for instance, it's also like another good way to really help stabilize those blood sugar levels that I've got in here is if you're going to have a bit of chocolate or some carbs or any kind of sugary treat, then always pair it with some nuts or seeds. So have some cashews and have your dark chocolate.
Okay.
Then that way you're going to be way more like, the blood sugar is going to be nice and stabilized rather than having that spike and crash.
And we need to get it stabilized so that we can bring the cortisol level down.
Yes.
So when you're suffering from trauma, your cortisol level is high.
Yes.
The way to bring it down through nutrition is to get this really balanced food intake of nutrition without having the spikes, because the spikes are going to harm the cortisol.
Exactly.
I'm getting it.
Yes.
I'm getting it. Yes.
It's making sense.
It's making sense.
And then I suppose we've also got some spinach here. Mm-hmm. Really, again, spinach is fantastic for so many reasons. It's high in iron, B vitamins, high in fiber. So, and also it tastes great in a smoothie. So I would definitely recommend
about the smoothie
to have yourself some spinach. Yes. Other things that may not necessarily be here that maybe I'd just like to touch upon is also thinking about our gut health.
Yes.
Because 90% of the serotonin is produced in our gut.
And what is serotonin?
So serotonin is our feel-good chemical. Is the chemical that, makes us feel happy and joyful in life. But we
definitely need some of that.
Yes.
So how do we raise it?
Exactly. So and that comes back to our gut health. So making sure that we are having those probiotic rich foods. So your kimchi, your yogurt, your kefir, ensuring that we're having also some so we've got probiotic, but then we've also got prebiotic foods as well. So prebiotics are foods that basically nourish and feed our good bacteria, our commensals.
So commensals,
so those are the good, sorry, that's the gut bacteria, the good ones that that help us thrive and make those good chemicals such as serotonin.
Okay.
So you would focus on things like garlic, onion, leek, and
so make a good vegetable soup.
Yes, so maybe for lunch. Exactly, garlic. You could have your onion in there, your leek.
Yes.
Some potatoes. Then bring in some healthy fats like olive oil in there too.
Okay.
Your lentils, which are very rich in fiber, but also rich in protein as well. So having a lentil soup stew for lunch is a great way to feed your gut.
Okay.
And keep those energy levels nice and stable. But another fantastic way to really boost your serotonin levels is if you want to go a little bit more specific, is to focus on tryptophan rich foods. So tryptophan is a precursor to serotonin.
Right, tryptophan.
Tryptophan is the beautiful amino acid that we need to bear in mind. So again,
and what foods is that ingredient in?
So turkey is a really, really good source.
So we need a vegetable soup with turkey.
Yes.
Turkey vegetable soup.
And add some lentils in there too.
And some lentils.
Tofu is very good as well. It's a very good sauce in there. Bananas. Okay. So that's a fantastic thing to bear in mind too. I guess.
And what I was going to say, and what are the best nutrients for mood regulation and stress resilience?
Yes. So I do actually have some of them here with me.
Okay, great.
I guess my favorite one that I would say is magnesium.
Okay.
This is magnesium bisglycinate. It is known as the calming mineral. So
I've heard this. So how do we take this? Is it in capsule form? Or could you pop it in your smoothie as well?
Exactly. That's a great question. You can do all of that. You can take them as they are in capsules, so you can open that up.
And how many a day would you be taking?
You would take, so it does come with instructions.
Yes.
Personally, at the moment, I'm taking 2 per day.
2 per day.
2 per day is around 375 milligrams.
Okay.
So it is a therapeutic dose. it is always a good idea to speak to a nutritional therapist before you do go on supplements.
Of course.
But it's very hard to go wrong with magnesium. Unless you're taking ridiculous amounts, then...
and where would people buy these from?
You can buy them online, you can buy them on your favourite high street stores, even in the supermarkets.
And if people didn't want to take supplements and wanted to have this nutrient in a food, what food would they go for?
Yes, so I have thought about that. And all of this smoothie, to be honest, all the ingredients that are going to go in the smoothie are very rich in magnesium.
So
we've got the spinach in there, we've got the banana, which is rich in magnesium as well, avocado, very rich in magnesium. We've got our dark chocolate, that's 90% cacao in there. We've got our almonds and our cashew nuts. So these are all very magnesium rich ingredients that really is the key player to helping us feel calm, helping us to, especially if you've got tension in your muscles, to help you relax your muscles, your body, if you've got any aches and pains. If you have trouble sleeping, it's brilliant for sleep as well.
So when we're feeling high anxiety, people that are suffering from maybe, I know we can't diagnose, but I personally I have post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
So I can have problems sleeping, I can have very hyper vigilance, and I can hear a pin drop about 4 roads up the road. So this will be good for me.
That will definitely be good for you, I would say, especially in times of where you feel extra, like high times of stress. So if you don't need to take it all the times. Like if you're feeling fine, then you don't necessarily need to. But like you said, if you're having that episode where you feel really anxious, you feel like a panic attack is coming on, you've had a few bad days, then I would say magnesium is your best friend. For women, I would also say this is brilliant.
I want my best friend with me.
This is also brilliant around that time of the month, of the monthly cycle, sort of like that PMS stage just before menstruation. Is also really, really brilliant to calm down those mood swings and just make us feel more calm and peaceful within ourselves.
Great. And can I just say, because this is a lot of information for our viewers, would you very kindly afterwards write us a piece for the description with a link to your website?
Yes.
I know on your website you offer ebooks and things as well.
Yes. They can go to my website and download an ebook from there. I'm happy for your viewers to message me if they've got any questions or they want to find out a little bit more, then I'm happy to reach out and support.
Perfect, thank you so much. And then just also tell us what are these? So this is the B complex.
This is another one of my favorites. So we've got magnesium and then we've got B energy complex. B complex again. B complex vitamins are just so good for our nervous system. They're amazing for energy production, great for mood regulation. So again, if you're feeling tired, you're a bit fed up, you're anxious, you just don't have the energy to get on with your day, then having a B complex is going to be your go-to. The way you would take a B complex is normally once you've had your breakfast, take 1 capsule and then you're done. So it is quite energizing. B vitamins are very energizing, so I'll say always have them in the morning.
Okay, that's very good to know. Yes. I need these as well. So I need the magnesium, I need the B vitamins. Yes. I feel like this is a personal consultation. Thank you so much.
Those are my 2 favorites, and honestly I just had this in my cupboard and I thought I'll bring it along because vitamin D is really an all-round vitamin that the majority of us will need, especially in winter time.
Yes.
But saying that, it is again one of those vitamins that is just so good for our mood stabilization. So good for mood health, basically. Really great for immunity, bone health. It's just an all-rounder. And if you're already suffering from depression or anxiety, being low in vitamin D is just going to exacerbate those symptoms to such a much higher level, and you're just going to have more aches, more pains, you're going to feel more moody, and it could be, on top of obviously everything else that you're going through, it could be that you're also very deficient in vitamin D, which the majority of us are.
Yeah.
So I would say always go to your GP, get a blood test done, and see where your vitamin D levels are.
Yes. In fact, there are a lot of places that you can get a blood test these days. It's not just at your GP.
Yes.
A lot of the skin clinics also offer blood tests and hormone testing. So
That's
a very
brilliant.
good place to look is our friend Google and find out where you can get your blood
Absolutely,
tested and
your
find out
nearest
exactly.
pharmacy, I think some Boots, I believe, I think they do it as well.
That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
Lovely. So we've got the magnesium, we've got the vitamin D3, and we've got the vitamin B complex.
Yes.
So those are the vitamins. Now, what have we got over here as well? Talk me through this.
This is basically, I just bought that with me because, you know, if you're struggling and you just don't have the budget, or you just don't even have the mental space to go out and get all these vitamins separately, then a really good thing to do is just grab yourself a nice therapeutic multivitamin. So have a multivitamin. And
what do you mean by therapeutic?
so therapeutic because sorry,
versus a multivitamin.
I know, yes, that is a little bit hard, I guess, to go into detail here, but normally something that I would look at is I would look at the ingredients at the back, and I would see where the levels are. Are they within sort of therapeutic ranges?
Okay.
Or are they just like very, very minimal? Because if they're like very minimal amounts in there, it's probably not going to exert much of an effect on you.
So this particular brand has got the therapeutic levels.
This one does, it does.
Show everybody what this brand is, and we're going to put this in the description as well.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And it's an all-rounder in there. It also has some adaptogens, all your Bs, magnesium, zinc. So yeah, looking for a good rounder is a really good idea if you don't have the time to get
all the little
separate ones.
That's brilliant, and I never knew about that therapeutic. You know, because it's the same in beauty. When people say to me, "Oh, I want some vitamin C," for instance, or they're telling me they use vitamin C in a cream, I'm like, "Hang on a minute, what's the percentage?" Because in order to actually do something worthwhile to the skin, it needs to be a certain percentage.
Exactly.
As a skin expert, I would know, so I completely understand, but I didn't know it related.
Exactly the same principle, except that you're ingesting it and exerting effects in your system internally. But
so please go over to the expert's website when we want to find out the information.
Some cacao powder here. I have to say this is my favorite food of all time. Yes, it's basically chocolate but in a powder form.
Okay. But
100% cacao. It's not maybe up to everyone's taste, but once you get used to it, it is so delicious.
And what are the benefits for this?
So cacao, again, it's just on here it even tells you it's really rich in iron, in protein, but of course I love it because it's also rich in magnesium, so it gives you that really calming, peaceful effect. And I love to have this, to be fair, I love to have this in my coffee in the morning, so I always have my cacao.
That's a good idea.
Mixed with my coffee. And in there also goes ashwagandha.
So ashwagandha.
Yes. So ashwagandha is a beautiful adaptogen, origin from India. It's it's again one of my favorites. I brought my two favorites with me.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha is an adaptogen. So basically what it does, it helps the body to adapt to stress.
Okay, so, this is really important for trauma recovery then.
Very, very important for trauma recovery.
Okay, so it's ashwagandha.
Almost there, yeah. Ashwagandha. There we go.
Listen to the experts.
Ashwagandha is a very, very popular herb and powder. It's used a lot in herbal medicine, but also in nutrition as well. Wouldn't give as a tincture, but personally I use as a powder. So again, I would pop that in my coffee. And what it does is that, especially in the morning, our cortisol levels can be a little bit spiked. Or if we're having coffee in the morning, it also spikes our cortisol levels even higher. So what I like to do is just add some ashwagandha in there and make it more of a calming coffee, more of a peaceful coffee. So getting the caffeine benefits, but also at the same time
keeping calm, not getting the jitters.
Keeping calm and not getting the jitters. Exactly.
We love that.
Exactly. Yes. But
so
all of that, all of this, like you said, will also go in the smoothie.
Well, let's put it all in the smoothie. So we are going to use a Vitamix today, and but you can also use a NutriBullet or any type of smoothie maker, of course. And I'm going to hand this over to the expert. Can I get anything for you?
We'll just.
Would you like me to start cutting up some banana?
Sure. So I think we'll put like half a banana in there.
Half a banana.
We don't want
Half a banana?
Probably half a banana should be fine.
Okay, so let's start.
Actually, you know what? We'll take the whole.
We're going to take the whole banana.
We'll share it.
Why have half a banana when you can have a whole banana?
So normally, if you're just making it for yourself, then ideally just have half a banana, because again, it is very rich in sugar. So try to have half a banana if you can. But obviously, if you're making it for your family, then you can add the whole thing in there. So we've got our banana in there, which is rich in magnesium and potassium.
Would you like
and then
me to
we've
cut
got,
this for you?
Yes, please, Abby.
Okay.
Thank you. Then we've got our lovely avocado in there. So this is going to be rich in fiber, high again in magnesium in there, and lots of healthy fats. So
and how much would you have
health.
versus sort of for one person?
So again, for one person, I wouldn't add more than half an avocado in there, if not a quarter. But yeah, usually half of an avocado.
But we're more than one person today, so we're going to take the whole lot. Let's get in there.
That's beautiful. So we've got our healthy fats in there, and then what we'll do next is we'll add our nuts and seeds. So we'll add I've got my strawberries.
What do strawberries do?
So strawberries, again, they're very rich source of vitamin C, and they're also a very good source of fiber.
Oh, fiber in a strawberry. I didn't know that.
Strawberries, and rich in vitamin C, so great for your skin, but also really good for your gut health. Perfect.
We love the strawberries.
I did want to bring some blueberries with me, but they were in the freezer, so I thought by the time I bring them across, they're going to be,
Bless you. Well, we've got the strawberries.
We've got the strawberries. We've got some berries in there. The main thing is to add some berries, whether it's strawberries, blueberries, because they're very rich in antioxidants as well. They're rich in antioxidants, high in fiber, and just really good for your brain health. Then what I normally do is I kind of just have like a handful of nuts in there. So we'll just add that in there.
Lovely. So we've got almonds and cashews. Are there any difference between the two
almonds
nuts?
and cashews? They do have their differences. The reason I chose those two is because, again, they're very rich in healthy fats, and also really high in magnesium. So those are my two favorites.
So it's the healthy fats and the magnesium.
And the magnesium.
We keep bringing it back to these two.
We keep bringing it back to those. Those are the two key players for brain health, hormone balance, cortisol. Yes, just to keep you grounded and balanced.
I probably need a few more then.
I mean, cashews are so creamy. I love them as well, because they make the smoothie like taste really, really nice. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a good handful of spinach in there. So spinach just gives it, again, that extra fiber and gives it like a really nice kind of mellow taste to it. So lovely. I really love spinach. I don't think we're going to add the dark chocolate, but we will add.
What? You can't leave it there. A little poor piece of chocolate in a bowl.
I know.
Look how lonely it gets. I'm such a lonely piece of chocolate.
So lonely.
Okay, I'll keep that
you
for
can
later.
keep that for later in the evening, Abby. You know, with your calming magnesium
Why wait till evening?
cacao. And then what we do is we're just going to add maybe 1 to 2 teaspoons of cacao powder. That's perfect. Yeah, that should be just right. So yeah, this smells gorgeous, by the way. Smell that.
Oh, love.
So delicious.
Love.
So divine.
Love. And
again, amazing effects on the body. And it's very energizing.
Can you move in with
well.
me, please?
Okay, I'm coming. You don't have to ask me twice.
Nutritionist and skin expert.
We'll be glowing.
We'll be healthy. We'll be balanced. Our skin will be on point.
And hopefully sharing some good tips with you guys.
And you.
And then we're just going to add the final seeds in there, some chia seeds. And I just bought like a mixture of different seeds in there. We've just got some goji berries, some pumpkin seeds,
so these are a goji berry, the little red ones.
Yeah.
What are these good for?
So again, they're very, very high in antioxidants. Okay. So just, when we're going through a traumatic experience, our body goes into that fight or flight response, and our inflammation levels in the body just like, catapult. They really high inflammation in the body. Hence, we don't feel good in our mental health as well. So what they do is they lower the inflammation down.
That's a very good point. So when I do still have post-traumatic stress disorder, but when it was at its worst, I found my face blew up.
Yes.
And I was told that this is a thing. This is the cortisol.
That's the cortisol.
I had like a round moon face.
Yeah.
Could you Do you see, this
Absolutely.
is a thing?
Yes,
this is a
it
thing.
is a thing, 100%.
Could you please explain that to our viewers?
Yes. So exactly, when we're like very stressed, our cortisol levels just are released. The adrenal glands release so much cortisol in our body that you would get a sort of like puffiness around your face.
It was really round.
You know,
really
and you know
round.
what's
like
really...
I'm unrecognisable now after leaving the traumatic experience place and getting myself into a safe space. My whole face
100%.
changed.
And I have to say, I've noticed that with myself too, and maybe even the viewers, if you go back to a previous stage of your life where you were experiencing like a really stressful time, if you look at the photos, you can see a difference in your face. Like you said, it's a bit more puffy, the structure looks a little bit different, and that's because of all the cortisol, all the stress. And you know, the fact that it's so visible in our face, can you imagine what it's doing internally in our body when it comes to your gut health, something known as leaky gut, inflammation that goes then up to our brain, dysregulation of our hormones and neurotransmitters. So this is a time to really then hone down, double down on your nutrition, on your supplements. And you know, and I have to say, smoothies for me are my favorite way to actually get nutrients in, because when you're going through a really stressful time, your gut, your digestive system shuts down, you know, starts to really get slower and slower, more sluggish. So at that point, it's really hard to break down food, especially when it comes to protein like red meat. Really struggles, it causes more problems, can lead to a backlog, and it just isn't going to be good for your overall health. So that's when smoothies come in. It's just such a good way to get your nutrients in without putting any additional stress on your digestive tract.
So these little berries are really, really important, because this is the antioxidant to help release the inflammation, which is bringing the moon phase look in because of the cortisol.
Absolutely.
Are there
along
other
with the
ingredients
ashwagandha in there?
Along with the ashwagandha.
Yes, that's also
And
a star.
what other ingredients can we incorporate if we're in that stressful environment and we can't leave it, but we're trying to get our bodies healthy and get the inflammation down?
Yeah, so I haven't brought it with me, but turmeric, which is another
that's the goji berry.
Beautiful spice. You know, turmeric again
yes.
is just so amazing for our health, but especially when it comes to brain health and inflammation. Is very, very anti-inflammatory. It's great on gut health. If you've got a bad tummy or like some kind of irritation there, because usually it does start from the gut and then goes up to the brain. So again, what I do is I just normally add some turmeric in there. Doesn't have to be a lot, just like half a teaspoon, less than half a teaspoon, however much you can tolerate. And then you just add you can go up to a teaspoon once you get more comfortable with it. But
and would it also work, because just a little bit earlier on we were talking about turkey. Would it work if in a turkey curry?
Oh, definitely.
So
definitely.
some of the meals
be perfect. Yeah.
Some of the meals that we've been suggesting is turkey curry. Because of the turmeric and the turkey.
Absolutely.
And then the vegetable soup with the garlics, the onions and the leeks.
Yes.
And then we've got the smoothies. So
fantastic.
Let's pop that in and we're gonna make this smoothie.
Brilliant. Just a thing to note with the turmeric, before we move on, is that it's always quite important to add some black pepper to it.
Okay,
it's just gonna really help with the absorption. So a lot of it can just sit around in the gut, but once we add a black pepper to it, it increases absorption by like, you know, very, very high amount. I can't remember the exact amount, but I think it goes up to like maybe 1,000% or something as such. So really important to add a pinch of black pepper in there. Here, it only has 4 ingredients in there. So it only has water, coconut milk, organic rice and some coconut cream. So lovely. I tried to go for very minimal ingredients in there. A lot of these plant-based milks do have artificial sweeteners in there, thickeners, things that really are not doing us any benefits. Sometimes myself included, I always try to go for plant-based milk because it's healthier and supposed to be more nutritious, but personally, because also I've suffered from a lot of cystic acne, so I try to stay away from dairy.
Yes.
However, you know, please try to go for a good brand, something with very minimal ingredients in there. Ideally, just some water and where there is some almonds or some coconut cream. You can make it at home as well
Oh,
yourself.
just a little bit of coconut cream and some
Bit of
filtered
coconut milk,
water.
filtered water, a little bit of honey in there, and there you go. You can just pop that in the fridge and use it for the next week or so.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
Right,
so
let's make
do
the
it.
smoothie before I eat all the
Add our
nuts.
milk in there. Here we go. Hopefully there's going to be enough in there. If not, I don't always top it up completely with milk. It's really good. That has a really nice consistency.
Smells beautiful.
That looks just about right. So
Lovely.
we'll give it a try and see how it turns out.
needs to be
You're going to give me a
consistent.
hand
Yeah.
with what I'll try to do. Putting it all together is I'll try to.
And now's where I show you
get
how to
a
redecorate the
recipe.
kitchen.
Just write the ingredients because I do normally guess my recipes. I don't always measure things out.
Bless
Just because
you.
I'm so used to it,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. But I know that's going to be really helpful for the audience. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Oh my gosh, that's lovely.
It's very creamy, very nourishing,
It's very frothy.
and very frothy. Yeah.
Is that the avocado?
That's the
It's
avocado
beautiful.
in there.
It makes it moussey.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the right word. It's very moussey and
we're having
creamy.
moussey in the chicken. Well, Rena, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing with me and everybody at home. We're all here at Your True Reflection to help heal together on this healing journey. So please like, subscribe and share if you like what we're doing, and come and join us on Instagram. And we will put Rena's details, the description, website and links to everything in the description. Thank you guys.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bless
Hope
you.
it was helpful. Bye.